I think how that they were taken against their wills, put in the belly of ships, brought over here, beaten, cussed. Many of them died in the guts of those ships, thrown overboard. They were pulled from families over there. These are God's people. And I know that there's wicked and white races, wicked and black races and all that. I'm not justifying none of that stuff. I'm just saying God knows what happened to the black race. He knows how they wound up over here. And God is going to reimburse the black people for all their trouble and all their labor. Watch what I tell you.
Flee from the land of the north. He's in his hand, we gon' soar. A farmer avenging his child. He finally ending it now. Judgment is right at the door. That hour approaching the hole. He finally taking her down. Free everybody that's bound. Back in the land we gon' roll. Hearts never knew we restore. Repent and stay down for your crowns. Seek 'em while we may be found. Keep our commandments and live. Remember the king what he did. Remission by shedding his blood. Keeping commandments is love. Holding my life I can't fall. We keep that light on this road. That narrow the way that's the path. Only a few really have. Nation on nation is war. It ain't no rumor no more. Stand on this hill with your stand. Jerusalem, we bout to hang our long way from Zion. We just wanna make it home. See your power raise this lion. We'll be kneeling at your throne. We are long way from Zion. We just wanna make it home. See your power raise this lion. We'll be kneeling at your throne. Jerusalem, free from the land of the north. He's in his hand, we gon' soar. A farmer avenging his child. He finally ending it now. Judgment is right at the door. That hour approaching the hole. He finally taking her down. Free everybody that's bound. Back in the land we gon' roll. Hearts never knew we restore. Repent and stay down for your crown. Seek 'em while we may be found. Keep my commandments and live. Remember the king what he did. Remission by shedding his blood. Keeping commandments is love. A long way from Zion. We just wanna make it home. See your power raise this lion. We'll be kneeling at your throne. We are long way from Zion. We just wanna make it home. See your power raise this lion. We'll be kneeling at your throne. Jerusalem.
Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, everybody. How's everybody doing this afternoon? How's everybody doing this afternoon? This is the day that the Most High have made. Let us be glad and rejoice in it. This is the day that He has made. Let us be glad and rejoice in it. I hope your week has been a great week. I hope the Most High really truly blessed you over and abundantly with love, kindness, and joy. I hope the Most High really has truly blessed you with wisdom and knowledge and understanding. I hope He has truly blessed you and your offsprings with protection and healing. Yes, I truly hope He has. My week has been an okay week. I just not come to understand why I'm teaching the way I'm teaching today. The Most High really truly take me through things so that I can understand things better. And I'm going to ask you, in your journey in this life, I always try to find out what the Most High is doing in your life. I always ask Him questions on what are you doing? What am I supposed to get from this week? always sit down and reevaluate your week to see what he's trying to truly say to you so that you can make sure that you understand what he's doing. Because if you don't do that, sometimes you can look at yourself as a victim or you can look at yourself in one way or another. But in actuality, the Most High is just basically trying to tell you, he may be trying to deliver a message to you. Or the Spirit is trying to deliver a message to you, and you got to get out of your emotions to be able to understand the message or the lesson. And because if you're not able to get out of your way, you can't understand the message, the teachings that he's trying to give to you. So let us go to Exodus chapter 20, verses 1 through 17. And it reads, And I spake all these words, saying, I am Yahuwah thy Adonai, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage, and thou shalt have no other else before me, and thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image or any likeness of anything that is in the heavens above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them nor serve them, for I, Yahuwah the Adonai, am a jealous Adonai, visiting the iniquities of the fathers upon the children, unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me, and showing mercy unto thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments. Thou shalt not take the name of Yahuwah thy Adonai in vain, for Yahuwah will not hold him guiltless that taketh his name in vain. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy works, but the seventh day is the Sabbath of Yahuwah thy Adonai. In it thou shalt not do any works, thou nor thy sons, nor thy daughter, thy manservants, nor thy maidservants, nor thy cattle, nor thy strangers that is within thy gates. For in 6 days Yahuwah made the heaven and earth, the sea, and all that in them is, and rested the seventh day. Wherefore Yahuwah blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it. Honor thy father and thy mothers, that thy days be long upon the land which Yahuwah thy Adonai giveth thee. Thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not commit adultery, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbors, and thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, nor his manservants, nor his maidservants, nor his ox, nor his ass, nor anything that is thy neighbor's. The Spirit just said to me, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife. That's what David did to Ananias. Not Ananias, but that's how David got Bathsheba. He was desiring to have his neighbor's wife, and it went against the commandments of Yahuwah. That is the reason why David's house came to be a wreckage, because he desired to have his neighbor's wife. And anytime that you desire to have your neighbor's things, you will bring a curse upon your own life, because you desire to have your neighbor's wife or your neighbor's husband. And when you do that, you're actually bringing curses upon yourself. I didn't recognize that until the Spirit just showed me that. It says, O creators of the heavens and earth, of our radiance and vibrations, soften the grounds of our beings and carve out a space with us where your presence can abide. Fill us with your creativity so that we may be empowered to bear fruit of our missions, and let each of our actions bear fruits in accordance with our desires within your purpose for our life. Bestow us with the wisdom of produce and share where each being needs to grow and flourish. Untie the tangled thread of destiny that binds us, as we release others from the entanglement of the past mistakes. Do not let us be seduced by that which distracts us from our true purpose, but illuminate the opportunities of present moments. For you are the ground and the fruitful vision, the creator and power and fulfillment. As all is gathered and made whole once again, so let it be. Yeah, so good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon. This is the day that the Most High have made. Let us be glad and rejoice in it. If you can, turn to the book of 2 Corinthians. 2 Corinthians. I taught on this before. I don't know how many times. I might have taught on it 1 or 2 times. But I think it was 2 Corinthians chapter 6 verses 14 through chapter 7 verse 1. But I think my main focus was verse 17. The first time I taught on it. But now the main focus on this on this teaching is verse 6 on 14. It's chapter 6 verses 14 through chapter 7 verse 1. 2 Corinthians chapter 6 verses 14 through chapter 7 verse 1. 2 Corinthians chapter 6 verses 14 through 7 verse 1. And the key verse is verse 14. It says, "Be ye not unequally yoked together with unbelievers. For what fellowship has righteousness with unrighteousness? And what communion has light with darkness?" Okay, let me read it over. It says, Be ye not unequally yoked together with unbelievers. For what fellowship has righteousness with unrighteousness? And what communion has light with darkness? Okay, if I may give a title of the teachings today. The title of the teachings today is we are in a season that we have to have one mind. We're in a season that we have to have one mindset. One mindset. That's the season that we're in today, okay? And I'm going to read you a little bit about the introductions of 2nd Chronicles. And it's coming out of my Mercer commentary on the Bible. This one here, I'm coming out of this commentary today. I found that some of these commentaries are very different, but some have more information compared to others. Okay, we all understand that Paul wrote 1 Corinthians, 2 Corinthians. Okay, he talked to the people in Corinth. Okay, but it says, while no Pauline letters demand more from his readers, none reward his readers more fully than 2 Corinthians. So what it's basically saying is, if you really sit down and read 2 Corinthians, there will be a great reward from you reading 2 Corinthians. Because the New Testament, starting from Acts. The New Testament starts in the book of Acts. And when you understand that when you're starting from the New Testament and it starts from the book of Acts, when you really understand the New Testament, it's all talking about spirituality, your mindset, how you believe, and things of that nature. Your greatest reward comes not from the physical, but from the spiritual. That's why scriptures say, hold on. That's why it says in John chapter 6, verse 63, it says, it is the spirit that quickeneth. It is the spirit that profiteth. The flesh profiteth nothing. The word that I speak unto you, they are spirit and they are life. What it's telling you is that when you start looking at things from a spiritual viewpoint, you can gain more in life than you could if you continue to look at things from the physical realm. Because actually what you think you see is not what you actually see. You have to be in a divine spiritual realm to be able to understand that. That's why he's talking about Pauline writings or 2 Corinthians is very rewarding. It's because he's coming from a spiritual mindset. He's not coming from a physical mindset. Okay, it says, forged in the crucible controversies, it has been called the paradise and the despair of the commentators. Writing with an unmistakable intensity and urgency, Paul said before his readers in the unusual vivid picture of himself in this most personal of his letters. So what he's saying in 2 Corinthians is the most personal letter that Paul ever wrote. And we got to really take heed today of what Paul is saying and why he's saying the things that he say, okay? Then it says, at the time he set before us a most powerful portrayal of nature of the gospel and the lifestyle of all who would be his servants. Ministers means servants. His ministers. And see, when we're trying to say that we're trying to follow the word of Christ or follow the word of Yahuwah, it's never from the physical sense. It's always from a divine or spiritual sense, or from the words, how we speak, how we think. That's what matters the most, how we speak, how we think. Okay? Then it says in 2 Corinthians, we discover the essence of what Paul understood the Gospels and the nature of ministry to be. And that's what we got to understand. What is actually following Christ look like? What does following the Messiah, following Yahuwah, following Ananias, our Father, actually look like? What does it actually look like? Is it contrary to how we think? Is it contrary to how we feel? Is it contrary to how we see? Because the way we think, because he says, my thoughts are not your thoughts, my ways are not your ways, right? Okay, let us go to that verse. It's in Isaiah chapter 55, verse 8 and 9. And I want us to understand something, because Paul is basically teaching us the Old Covenant, Old Testament, right? He's basically teaching us that, but he also is living it out. It says, for my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither your ways my ways, saith Yahuwah. For as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts. So, as long as we continue to think from an earthly or physical realm, we could never comprehend how Yahuwah thinks, how Yahuwah may want us to be, whatever the case may be. We could never comprehend it because our mindset is so physical. It's not from the spiritual sense. And that's what Paul is saying. Even when we go to 2 Corinthians chapter 6, verses 1, right? And this is what Paul is saying. We then, as workers together with Christ, beseech you also that ye receive not the grace of Ananias in vain. See, Paul Paul's mindset is that yes, we are here to be a servant of Christ, be a servant to Ananias. And he understands when he got called on the road to Damascus, his mindset changed because he understand that he had a greater responsibility. And see, his responsibility wasn't try to get the things of the world, the tangible things of the world, because he had it. So his mindset now was to change people's lives from the mental aspect and not from the physical aspect. And once we change our mind from the physical aspect into a spiritual aspect, we can see things so differently. We can see things on a totally different realm. We can see things from a totally different mindset. And then when we see things from those 2 points of views, it will change our life on how we act and how we behave and how we treat people. But as long as we see ourselves from a physical, we'll never be able to treat people different than how we see them. Like, men should see women as their sisters. Hebrew brothers should see Hebrew sisters, women as their sisters, and treat them according to, even when they're not dating them. When man is not dating a woman, he should see that woman as his sister. But once they move to a different level, he should treat her as such. And the same way it is with women. Women, if you're not dating a man, you should see him as a spiritual brother. Until you move to that next level, you can see him as such. But you will not mistreat your brother. So you're going to treat this person as your brother. And brothers, you will not mistreat your sister. You would treat her as such. You will look out for her, make sure she's good, make sure she got everything, make sure if she needs something, you got it, you can help her. That's the mindset we should see on the spiritual realm. Because we're all in this thing together. Okay? So the two definitions I have for you today, is together. Together is a 13th century word. Together comes from the sense of a body or a nation of people. It comes from the collective, from the physical realm. Together means in company, in or into union, in the same place, in the same time, in conjunction, simultaneously. That means we need to come together as a unit, as a nation or a body of people. That's what the word together means. It's coming from the physical collective realm. Okay, unity is a 13th century word. Unity is coming from the mindset. Unity is coming from the mindset. That's what unity means. Unity means is a mindset. Unity means a state or property of being one. Oneness, sameness, agreement, friendship, mentally. All these things are from a mindset point of view, not from the physical realm. Togetherness means from the physical, as us coming together as a whole, as a body. But the unity comes from the mindset. Okay? So now, when we're looking at it, Paul is talking to his people about how we should be in character. How our character should be. How we should be as a people. And he's differentiating between good and bad. All these types of personalities. And it's coming from a mindset and a physical realm. And because in order for us to be able to be successful, we have to be able to have one mindset. But I'm going to say this to you. Let us go to 2 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 10. Because we got to understand something. I want us, this is also in this is in the New Covenant as well. I want us to understand this. Listen to this very closely. It says, for we must all appear before the judgment seat of Ananias, or Christ, or the Messiah, that everyone may receive the things done in his body, according to that he had done, whether it be good or bad. See, that's the thing. This is very important for us to understand that whatever we do as a person or as a people, we're gonna be judged. That's my grandson. We're gonna be judged according to what we do, how we act in this world, how we treat people. That's what we're gonna be judged by. If those who believe in the judgment seat, the afterlife perspective, everything that you do on this earth, you're going to get judged by that. And that's why I was saying we should, as brothers and sisters, as Hebrew Israelites and other Gentile nations who attach themselves to the Hebrews, you should treat them as if they are your brother or as they are your sister. If you're not dating them, you should look at them as how Christ would want you to see them. Yes, that's my sister over there, so I'm not going to mistreat her. I'm going to treat her as if she is my sister. I'm going to give her agape love. Meaning that I'm not going to do anything wrong to her. If I see that she needs help and I can help her, I'm going to help her. The same way with a sister. Sisters should have a mindset of, yes, that's my brother. I have an agape love for him. I'm not going to do anything wrong to him. I'm going to make sure if he needs something, if I can do it for him, and it don't put me in distress, I'm going to do it for him. That's the mindset that we should be. Because understanding this verse again in verse 10, for we must all appear before the judgment seat of Messiah, that everyone may receive the things done in his body. Everything that you have done, how you treated people, the way you think, all these things, you're going to be put on the judgment seat for it. Okay? And then it says, according to that he has done. Everything that you have done in this earth, you're going to be judged for it. And it's going to be placed right in front of you. Well, why did you did this, and why did you do that, and why did you do this, and what was your thoughts on this? And that's what it's going to be. You're going to be facing each and every day. You know? So we got to understand that viewpoint. Okay? So yes, Paul was talking about how we should be in character. How we should be, because this is very important. It says in verse 6 and 1, it says, we then, as workers together with him. Workers together with him. The word together means in one body, one nation, in one union with him. We beseech you also that ye receive not the grace of Ananias in emptiness. How you view a person is how you treat a person. Okay? But now let us go ahead and get started. Let us go ahead and go down to verse 14. Okay, it says in verse 14 in 2 Corinthians chapter 6. It says, be ye not unequally yoked together with unbelievers. What does the word unequally yoked means? Unequally yoked means not equally in difference, not with like sentiments, temper, or spiritual opinions or habits. He's telling us that we should not be dealing with people who do not have the same spiritual mindset, who do not have the same temperament, who do not see things the way we see things. Because the way you may view it and the way this person may view it, it could bring chaos and commotion and calamities in the relationship. It could bring on a lot of different things that don't need to be. It's like, for example, right? I look at TikTok a lot, and like everybody else look at TikTok a lot, right? And what people are saying on TikTok is and I hate that people have bit the apple. I'm disappointed that people have bitten the apple. But now a lot of times on TikTok, they're discussing, should men go pay all the bills or should it be 50-50? And that's the biggest talk on TikTok these days. Should man pay all the bills or should women go 50-50 with a man? Okay? And what the Spirit was saying to me is, neither person is wrong. If a woman thinks that she want to get a man that want to pay all the bills, yes, that's fine. But she should not go try to be with a man who want her to pay 50-50 if her mindset is she want a man to pay the whole bills. If she want a man to go pay the whole bill, she should go get a man who has that same belief system so that it won't be no problems in the relationship. But as long as this woman is trying to date men who don't believe what she believe, or she don't believe what he believes, it's going to always be calamities or problems in the relationships. So if that's the case, to stop the calamities or the problems in a relationship, a person should get the same person who believes the way they believe, so that it won't be any problems in the relationship. So you won't have no different mindsets. So you won't have no different spiritual or habit beliefs. That's the way it should be. So that you can have harmony in your relationship. That's what he's talking about, belief and unbelief. Even when it comes down to the Bible, you should be dealing with somebody who truly believes what you believe from the Bible viewpoint. You know, and that's just what it is. A person should not be dating somebody who say the male believe in going to church on Sunday, but the female believe in going to church on the Sabbath, which is Saturday. Those two should not be together, because the simple fact is that their spiritual belief system is different, and it can cause problems in relationship. That is what Paul is talking about. Be ye not unequally yoked together with unbelievers. And you can put it in all aspects, all realms, all situations in life. You cannot, and that's what I tell my youngest daughter all the time: never try to put a circle in a square. Never try to make somebody be what you want them to be, how you want them to be, in the way you want them to be. Just go get somebody who's like you or what you want. Don't make somebody be what you want them to be. That's what I understand. That's what the Spirit has been dealing with me this week, because it's just been a lot of calamities in my life because of belief systems. The way people believe is maybe totally different than the way I believe. Not saying that that person is wrong, not saying that I'm right, not saying that I'm wrong and that person is right. It's just a simple fact is, it causes calamities in relationships or problems in relationships when you are unequally yoked, when you have two different mindsets. When it comes down to the physical and spiritual systems. Okay, and it says, what fellowship has righteousness with unrighteousness? And what communion has light with darkness? The word light and darkness means smart and ignorance, or intelligence with dumb. What union do those people have? What kind of relationship do these people have? And that's something that we got to examine when we are in these types of relationships, and when we are fellowshipping with people, is that we really got to examine what benefit am I getting out of this situation when I'm dealing with someone who do not believe the way I believe. What am I getting from this? How is it benefiting me at the end of the day? Whether it's the woman or whether it's the man. What am I getting out of it at the end of the day? When they don't believe the way I believe. When they don't see things the way I see things. Because even when you look at it from what's going on in the world today, and I'm finna get to some, even when we look at what's going on in the world today, right? Some people believe that it's the end time. And some people are, because they believe it's the end time, they're prepping for calamities. They're training, they're exercising, they're buying canned goods, they're buying this, they're buying that. They're doing all these types of things because they see, from their spiritual viewpoint, they see the writing on the wall. But other people who may not be studying the word, or who may not be able to see things, they may be saying, oh, man, I'm finna enjoy life. I'm finna get ready to have a great time. I'm going to travel. I'm going to live my life to the best of my abilities. And I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. Shoot, we only got one life. We only got one life to live. That's another person's viewpoint. So when the person who might see calamities coming and all these things, they're prepping, but the other person who don't see that, and when it comes down to how they're going to interact with each other, it could be some problems. It could be some frustration. It could be some issues because they're not viewing things from the same viewpoint. And that's what's happening I think in a lot of relationships, whether it be the sons, the daughter, the husband, the wife, any type of relationship you have. It could be workers and co-workers. It doesn't matter. You know, you have to really right now get with people who think the same way you think in order for you to be prosperous in your endeavors in life. Okay, let us go to Deuteronomy chapter 7. Deuteronomy chapter 7, verses 2 and 3. Okay? It says in Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 2 and 3, it says, when Yahuwah thy Adonai shall deliver them before thee, thou shalt smite them and utterly destroy them. Thou shalt make no covenant with them, nor show mercy unto them. Neither shalt thou make marriage with them. Thy daughter thou shalt not give unto his sons, and his daughters shall thou take unto thy sons. For they will turn away the sons from following me, that they may serve other gods. So will the anger of Yahuwah be kindled against you, and destroy thee suddenly. See, a lot of the times when we're getting people, we have people in our life who do not think and feel the same way we think and feel. It can distract us from accomplishing our mission or our desires or our purpose. See, like the person who's prepping for end times is dealing with somebody who want to travel all the time. The person who's trying to prep may not have the type of money that they want to spend in prep and get the training or whatever. It's because the other person want to travel and spend money on traveling. And then the person that's traveling may be mad with the person who want to spend money on prepping all the time, because the simple fact is the person that want to travel may not have the money because they're spending money on prepping. I'm not saying that they can't come together, but it's very difficult because of the simple fact is both of them are being torn away from what they truly, really believe in. Okay? Let us go to Nehemiah chapter 13. Nehemiah chapter 13, 1 through 3. Okay? It says, on that day they read in the book of Moses in the audience of the people, and therein was found written that the Ammonites and the Moabites should not come into the congregation of Ananias forever, because they met not the children of Israel with bread and with water, but hired Balaam against them, that he should curse them. Howbeit our Ananias turned the curse into a blessing. It came to pass, when they had heard the law, that they separated from Israel all the mixture multitude. See, we should have one mindset on things when it comes down to being cursed or blessed. Our mindset should be totally different than the world, and believers should think totally different from unbelievers. Our actions and the way we think should be totally different, because when you in the Word, you'll see things different than when people who are not in the Word, they'll see things totally different. And they'll respond to it and they'll act on it totally different. And that's just with anything in life. That's why most marriages break up, because of the differences of opinions and how things should be ran. And one thing when I was down there drinking my cup of tea this morning, the Spirit said the reason why most marriages break up, because a lot of the issues are not talked about at the beginning of marriages. If we have a child, do I want my wife to stay home 1 or 2 years so that she can make sure the baby okay? Do I want my wife to stay home and make sure the kids are raised? Am I going to be able to afford to do these things? How? Those issues are not talked about so that we could be on one accord. A lot of those issues are not talked about. Well, how the finances going to work? Who going to do this and who going to do that? Because we don't talk about those issues, we can't come on one accord. And the thing about it is, it's okay if somebody don't think the way you think. Just go get with somebody who think the way you think so that you can have harmony. Not that the person is wrong, they just don't think the way you think. Okay? Let us go to Psalms. Psalms 106. And Psalms 106 and 35. It say, I'm going to verse 34, it said, they did not destroy the nations concerning whom Yahuwah commanded them, but were mingled among the heathens and learned their works. Listen to that again. They did not destroy the nations concerning whom Yahuwah commanded them, but were mingled among the heathens and learned their works, and that served the idols which were a snare unto them. See, that is a lot of the times our problems when we're dealing with people who don't believe the way we believe. They wind up enticing us to do things that we know we shouldn't do. And that's what we have to really deal with in this realm, in this situation that we see going on in the world today. Everything that we see going on in the world today, we should be wanting to deal with like-minded people so that we won't be unprepared for what's coming. It's like they've been talking about digital currency for a long period of time now. Like the transitioning of the dollar falling, and then something other coming in. And if we are not preparing ourselves financially for these situations, we're going to be destroyed. If you're not trying to buy digital currency, if you're not trying to buy cryptocurrency like Bitcoin, XRP, Dogecoin, all these other currencies, if you're not trying to invest at least $500 into those currencies, so when the dollar falls, you're going to be broke. Especially if you don't have no silver nor no gold, you're going to be caught and you're going to be destroyed because you're not preparing yourself for what's to come. Because you may or may not be listening to somebody that's up on the up. If you're not listening to somebody that's on the up and up on finances, no, you're going to be destroyed because your mind is not like that person's mind. So when the dollar crashes and they all go to digital currencies and your money get wiped out, you're going to be disappointed. Why? Because you wasn't trying to get on the new, your thought process was totally different. You were still thinking that, oh, nothing going to change. So I ain't got to go buy no silver. I ain't got to go buy no gold. I ain't got to go buy no crypto. I ain't got to go do none of that. Because it's going to be this way forever. That's why you get destroyed. When you are around people that do not think the way you think, you're going to be jacked up. Let us go back to 2 Corinthians. 2 Corinthians chapter 6, verses 15. So, when you are unequally yoked with somebody, it can entice you to do things that you really don't want to do. Physically and spiritually. The thing is, just go get with somebody who you have the same mindset with. And then so that you could be able to do the things y'all need to do. Whatever it is, spiritually, whatever. Okay, in verse 15 it says, with concourse has Christ with Balaam. And what part has he that believed with an infidel? Okay. What it's saying is, what kind of relationship do Christ have with the devil? It's fighting all the time. Fighting all the time. And what part has he that believe with an infidel? An infidel is a person who do not believe. So what kind of relationship do Christ have with the devil? And what kind of relationship do infidels have with people who believe? They always going at each other. Because the simple fact is, they don't believe. Neither one of them believe the same thing. So you're going to always have disagreements. You're going to always have arguments. Like my son, my son and I, we have arguments all the time because we do not believe the same thing. And this week I had to just come out and say, hey, I ain't fooling with you no more. On certain levels, I'm not fooling with you no more. Not because I don't love him, not because of whatever. It's just that because the way he believes and the way I believe, nah, I ain't finna put myself through the stress no more. Or dealing with people who do not believe the way I believe. And not saying that my belief system is right. It's just saying the way I believe, I want people who around me who think the way I think. So that it can run smoothly. So it can be the way it's supposed to be. I don't want to be around people who don't think the way I think because they're stopping my progress and I'm stopping their progress. That's just the way it is. Because it's only prosperous that way. Let us go to Acts chapter 2. And see, I want to say something to you. And I want you to hear this very important thing. Prosperity only comes when people agree together. on one accord together. Because they got the same agenda, they got the same purpose, they got the same mission. That's when prosperity comes into play. If you don't have that, if you're not able to agree, you can't have prosperity, whether it's physically or spiritually. Okay, and it says, when the day of Acts chapter 2 verse 1, listen to this, very important. It says, when the day of Pentecost was fully come, they were all with one accord in one place. That's what togetherness means. When the day of Pentecost was fully come, they were all with one accord in one place. That's together. Okay, and suddenly there came a sound from heaven as of a mighty rushing wind, and it filled all the house where they were sitting. And there appeared unto them cloven tongues like as of a fire, and it sat upon them. See, you got to be able to be in unison. You got to be together physically and spiritually to be able to have the blessings that you need. If you're not together spiritually and physically and mentally, you cannot have the things that you need. That's the bottom line. You can't be blessed because there's somebody rocking the boat. Well, I don't think we do this. Well, I don't think that's what you're gonna have. Now let us go to let us go back to 2 Corinthians chapter 6, because being together is very important for blessings. Being like-minded is very important for blessings. Okay? I read that it says, with one accord has Christ with Balaam, and what part has he that dwells with an infidel? Nobody has nothing in common with each other. Okay? Nobody. Okay, let me stay where you at. I'm just write this one down. It says in 2 Corinthians chapter 4 verse 4, on whom the God of this world has blinded the minds of them which believe not, lest the light of the glorious gospel of Christ, who is the image of Ananias, should shine unto them. See, the people who do not believe the way the word believes, they are taken by Hashatan. They are the children of Hashatan. People who do not believe the way the people in the Bible believe, and I'm not saying that people in the Bible believe that all of them are right, but what I'm saying is, some people can be taken by the Hashatan by what they believe in, and some people can be taken by the word, just depending on whatever your thought process is. Some people are blinded by one thing, some people are blinded by another thing. Like some people can say that, no, the currency ain't going to change, but some people can say, yes, the currency is going to change. And see, you got to ask the person, well, why you don't believe the currency going to change? Well, this is what it is. Well, what's your evidence? And you got to go off evidence. You can't go off feelings. You got to go off facts. But some people just want to be in a certain mindset because they may feel like they can't handle reality. Okay? Chapter 6 in 2 Corinthians verse 16. It says, what agreement has the temple of Ananias with idols? Listen to that. Listen to that. Listen to that. It says, what agreement has the temple of Ananias with idols? Listen to this. See, this is considered to be an idol. An idol is something that was created by hand. Okay? Idol is created by a man. That's what idols are. Idols are things that was created by man. Okay, now I want you to understand this. It says, for ye are the temple of the living Anani. As Anani has said, I will dwell in them and walk in them, and I will be their Anani, and they shall be my people. See, when we go to Genesis chapter 1, right? Verse 1. No, verse 2. Listen to this. It says, and the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. And the spirit of Anani moved upon the face of the waters. What is the spirit? Let's go to John chapter 6, verse 63. It is the spirit that quickens, the flesh profiteth nothing. The words that I speak unto you, they are spirit, and they are life. See, this thing don't have no life or nothing in it. This thing don't have nothing in it. It's just a dead piece of wood or plastic or whatever you want to call it. It's useless. It just serves its purpose as being a display. That's all it is. It's just displaying the Lion of Judah. It don't have nothing else in it. But when we look at verse again in 2 Corinthians chapter 6 verse 16 again, listen to it carefully. It says, and what agreement has the temple of God, Anani, with idols? That is an idol. It's dead. Now listen to the second part he said. For you are the temple of the living Anani. As Anani has said, I will dwell in them and walk in them. What he's saying is, Anani will walk in us and dwell in us. And I will be their Anani, and they shall be my people. Understanding that this here doesn't compare to me. Me made this. How can this compare to me? How can the creation compare to the maker? It can't. Not even on the same level. That's why he's using these parables or these analogies or these comparisons, because believers can't even, they don't even walk on the same level as unbelievers. Unbelievers don't even walk on the same level with believers. That's what he's saying. You have to understand the people that you're around. People who don't believe the way you believe, some of them may be taken away by the devil. Some of them may be taken away because of what the world talk about. But let us go to 1 Corinthians chapter 6. 1 Corinthians chapter 3. Verses 16 and 17. Listen to this. Listen to this. It says, know ye not that ye are the temple of Anani? The place, you are the place of Anani, and that the spirit of Anani dwells in you. See, we don't realize that the word of Anani dwells in us. Only thing we got to do is activate Anani in us. We just got to activate him. How we activate Anani, how we activate that spirit, is by studying the word. Coming in accordance with the word. Coming one in agreements with the word. That's how we activate Anani in us. We got to become one with the word. Then it says, if any man defiles the temple of Anani, him shall Anani destroy. What it mean by him shall, it says, if any man defiles the temple of Anani, him shall Anani destroy. Meaning that if you eat pork, if you do things that is against your own self, you're going to destroy yourself. You're going to destroy the temple of Anani because you intentionally destroying yourself. If you on crack, if you indulge in alcohol, if you indulge in eating food, if you indulge in witchcraft, if you indulge in sorcery, if you're intentionally doing that, you are intentionally destroying yourself. And you are the temple of Anani. Then it says, for the temple of Anani is holy, which temple ye are. So what Paul is saying, how can you compare yourself to wood and stone? You can't. Because you are the temple of Anani. You are the temple of God. God dwells in you. The Spirit of God dwells in you. You just got to activate the Spirit of God in you in order for you to walk as God's, the little g. How can you try to compare yourself to something that you created? That don't work that way. You got to walk in who you are as the children of God. It says in Genesis chapter 1 verse 27, it says, so God created man in his own image. In the image of God created he him, male and female created he them. So if we are created in the image of God, why are we not acting like God? Why are we not thinking like God? Why are we not behaving like God? Why are we dealing with unbelievers? Why are we dealing with people who believe the way the world believes? Why are we not believing the way, why are we not thinking on a much heavenly realm than on an earthly realm? Why we don't have a different mindset? That's why he's saying, he's using these comparisons, because you have to have a different mindset than people of the world. Your thought process got to be different. Everything about you got to be different. At this moment in time, everything about you got to be different. Let us go to Deuteronomy chapter 4 verses 28 through 31. Listen to that. Listen to this. And there ye shall serve gods, the works of man's hands. Listen to that. And there ye shall serve gods, the work of men's hands, wood and stones, which neither see, nor hear, nor eat, nor smell. This thing cannot eat, nor it cannot see, it can't hear, it can't eat, nor can it smell. Hey man, talk to me. Can you talk to me? This thing can't say nothing, but we worship it as if it's something. It can't smell, it can't do nothing. Your car, the only reason why your car is being able to talk to you now because they put AI computer systems in it. And that's part of witchcraft. Then it says in verse 28, 29, but if from this thou shalt seek Yahuwah thy Anani, thou shalt find him. If thou seek him with all thy mind and with all thy soul, when thou art in tribulations, and all these things are come upon thee, even in the latter days, if thou turn to the Yahuwah thy Anani, and shall be obedient to his voice. Listen to that. Shall be obedient to his voice. For Yahuwah thy Anani is a merciful Anani. He will not forsake thee, nor destroy thee, nor forget the covenant of thy fathers, which he swore unto them. See, idols of wood and stones, we are the temples, and we're the small g of Ananiah. We're his creation. We're in his image. Nothing can compare to us. Believers do not compare to unbelievers. People who think in the earthly realm do not even compare to the people who think in the heavenly realm. That's why we should, right now, our mindset should begin with people who think just like us, so that we can be able to prepare ourselves for what's to come. Okay, let us go to Ezekiel chapter 36. Verses 25. It says, then will I sprinkle clean water upon you, and ye shall be clean. From all your filthiness and from all your idols will I cleanse you. See, only the words can cleanse people. Let me try to find some. My computer messing up. Okay. Let us go to Ephesians 5. I've been over this last week, 2 weeks ago. Let's go to Ephesians 5, right? Ephesians 5. Let me see something. Go to 26. I want you to understand this verse. I read this verse last week. This is very important. And I'm going to go to another verse too. It says, husbands, love your wives, even as Christ also loved the church, and gave himself for it, that he, the husband, might sanctify and cleanse your wife with the washing of water by the word, that the husband might present to himself a glorious wife, not having spot or wrinkle or such things, but that it should be holy, without blemish. See, when we really study the word convicts us. It's like a double-edged sword. When we really study the word, it changes us internally. When we really study things and study words, we become what the word that we're studying. Go to John. John 1:1. John 1:1, it says, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was Ananias. That's why Christ say, I was with the Father at the beginning, because Christ is the Word. So, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. Now listen to this and go down to verse 14. See, when you study the Word and you believe in the Word, and the Word was made flesh and dwelled among us, and we beheld his glory, and the glory as of the only begotten of the Father, full of grace and truth. See, when you really become quote unquote a believer, you become one with the word, and you start to be able to have the power and the abilities of the word. You can be able to do exactly what the word say do. But when you are an unbeliever, you don't have those abilities. You don't have those powers. You can't come in harmony with nobody. When you are unequally yoked with people, you cannot have peace in your household. You cannot have peace in relationships. You cannot have peace in nothing because you're constantly going at each other. But when you're equally yoked, yes, you're harmony. You're straight. You're good. You go. You're synchronized. That's what it is. You're synchronized. You're working together. You're like a beautiful orchestra playing wonderful music, making things happen. But when you're not equally yoked, yeah, you chaos and commotion. But when you become one with the word, you create harmony. Okay? So let us go back to 2 Corinthians chapter 6, verses 17. So when you are unequally yoked with people, you don't have harmony like you need to have. You don't have harmony. You don't have peace. You don't have blessings. You don't have prosperity. But when you're equally yoked with someone, you have harmony. You have peace. You have prosperity. You have the things that you need to have. You even have protection and you have salvation. Because Yahuwah start preparing you for what's to come. Then it says in verse 17, it says, wherefore come out from among them, and be ye separate, saith Yahuwah, and touch not the unclean things, and I will receive you. See, that's the instructions that we need to do. That's the instructions. It's a reason why the Most High don't want us to deal with certain people. It's not because of they're bad people. It's just He don't want us to deal with them because they don't have the same mindset as us. They're not on one accord with us. They can't bring peace and blessings to us. It's not because they're bad people. It's not because they're that. It's just that they're different from us. They're of the world, and we're not of the world. Their mindset is of the world, and our mindset is not of the world. You view yourself different than how they view themselves. Okay? And it says in verse 18, will be a father unto you, and ye shall be my sons and daughters, saith Yahuwah Adonai Almighty. Saith Yahuwah Almighty. See, that is the blessings. That is the reward. That is the blessings and the reward. Excuse me. That is the blessings and the reward. And will be a father unto you, and ye shall be my sons and daughters. Saith Yahuwah saith Yahuwah Almighty. It's just like I just said, I'm saying to my son, said this week by my son, listen, I ain't dealing with you no more on certain levels. It's not that I'm casting him away, but he got to learn on his own. People who don't have the same mindset as you, you got to push them away from you, not because you don't love them, but because you don't want the conflict that they're bringing to you. And they got to be put in a different status so that they could be able to get what they need to get. Because some people got to learn the hard way. That's just the end of the day. If they got to go through trials and tribulation, they just got to go through it. Whatever it is, they just got to go through it. Because if you're trying to tell them right and they don't want to listen, it's just like, that's why Let us go to Mark chapter 6. Verses 4. Okay, it says, "But Jesus said unto them, A prophet is without honor but in his own country, and among his own kin, and in his own house. And he could there do no mighty works, save that he laid his hands upon a few sick folks and healed them. And he marveled because of their unbelief, and he went round about the villages teachings." See, because the way people think, you're not able to help them the way you really want to help them because of because of the way they are. Because they didn't believe in Yahshua the HaMashiach, they couldn't listen to him and do what he asked them to do. And see, a lot of times people don't believe in what you're saying. So when they don't believe in what you're saying, you're not able to do what you need to do for them. So what did he do? He kicked the dust off his feet and kept it moving. He only dealt with people who really wanted to listen to what he had to say. And those who didn't want to listen, he let them go. And that's what we as a people right now in this day and time, we got to shake the dust off our feet with certain people because they don't want to believe the way we believe. They don't want to have the same mindset as us. Because times are getting hard, times are getting difficult, times are getting ready to struggle. People are getting ready to struggle. And see, you don't want no strife and conflict in your situations, in your household, when times are hard. You want everybody to be able to be on one accord. They may be able to do different things, but the same objective is the same. The objective is the same. It's okay for a person to know how to cook or be a nurse or a doctor or whatever. But at the end of the day, the objective is the same, is to make sure that the boat comes together, and that the family comes together and work together to accomplish whatever mission you have. See, you got to come together to be able to accomplish the missions. And you got to understand what your mission is. How you going to get there. Which route we're going to take. Who's going to be the leader? Who's going to be the followers? You got to sit down and talk about all those things. Let us go to Jeremiah. Chapter 3. Verse 19. And it reads, it said, "But I said, how shall I put thee among the children, and give thee a pleasant land, a goodly heritage of the host of nations? And I said, thou shalt call me my father, and shall not turn away from me." See, the blessing is when we start to believe in the word, he'll really be the head of our life. Because that's what the Father is. The Father is the head of everything. You will listen, you will follow him, you'll do what he say do. Because you acknowledge him as the head of your life. I'll be done in just a second. Father means, a father is someone who begetting a child. A father can also be referred to a first ancestor or a more remote ancestor. Adam is the father of human race. Abraham is the father of the Israelites. Father can be used in a term respect of an old man, chief ruler, an elder. So God is referred to as the father of the Israelites, the father of the fatherless, and the father of all men. Father is the head. The father is the head. So when you acknowledge the Abba as your father, you acknowledge him as your head. And when you acknowledge him as your head, you're doing what your head say do. Just like when women acknowledge their husbands as the head of the house, that means that women should be following the leadership of their husbands and doing what the husbands ask them to do. The only time that relationships could break down and marriages break down is when people step out of line of their position. Let us go to Romans chapter 8. Verse 14 through 17. And it reads, as many as are led by the spirit of Anani, they are the sons of Anani. Listen to that. For as many are led by the words of Anani, they are the sons of Anani. For ye have not received the words of bondage again to fear, but ye have received the words of adoption, whereby we cry, Abba, Father. The Spirit, the words itself bear witness with our words that we are the children of Anani, and if children, then heirs, heirs of Anani, and joint heirs with Christ. If so be that we suffer with him, that we may be also glorified together. The verse is in verse 13. It says in verse 14. I like this one. I want us to understand. No, verse 14. No, 13. 14. It says, for many are led by the spirit of Anani. They are the sons of Anani. Anybody who believes in the man's word, they're going to be called my son. Because the son followed the father's words. That's my daughter. Yeah, my daughter. That's my daughter, but she hard-headed, man. She don't listen. It's a difference. When you obey, the man is proud to call you. When you disobey, he ain't as proud to call you, but he gonna claim you. He gonna claim you, but he ain't gonna be proud to claim you. Yeah, that's my daughter, man, but she hard-headed. That's a hard-headed rascal there. But when you do, oh yeah, man, that's my daughter there, man. I love her to death. I love her to life. Let's go to 1 John. Last one. And I'm done. 1 John chapter 3, verse 12. 1 and 2, I'm sorry. It says, behold, what manner of love the Father has bestowed upon us, that we should be called the sons of Anani. Therefore the world knoweth us not, because it knew not him. Listen to that. It says, behold, what manner of love the Father has bestowed upon us, that we should believe, that we should be called the sons of Anani. Therefore the world knoweth us not, because they knew him not. See, the believers don't know what's going on in the world because the unbelievers don't know what's going on in the world because they don't know the Father. But the believers know what's going on in the world because they know the Father. The believers know who they are because they understand the Father. The non-believers don't know who they are because they don't know the Father. And in verse 2 it said, beloved, now we are the sons of Anani, and it doeth not yet appear that what we shall be. But we know that when he shall appear, we shall be like him, for we shall see him as he is. Understand that. Understand that. Listen to this again. It said, beloved, now we are the sons of Anani, and it doeth not yet appear what we shall be. But we know that when he shall appear, we shall be like him, for we shall see him as he is. 1 John 1 and 14. And the Word was made flesh. So when we see him, we shall be like him. So when the Word became flesh, Jesus did everything that Anna and I would do. Because both of them operating in the same. That's why he say, and I'm done. That's why he says in John chapter 10, right? And I'm done. Verse 30. It says in John chapter 10, verse 30, I and my Father are one. Verse 32, Jesus answered him, many good works have I shew you from my Father. For which of those works do ye stone me? See, Jesus was saying, me and my Father are one. Why Jesus didn't say that? Because he became one with the Word. The Word became him, so he did everything that the Word say do. So how can an infidel be associated with a believer? How can a believer be a part of an unbeliever? How can Christ be part of a Baal? See, we got to understand right now what's going on in the world is that we really truly got to separate ourselves from people who do not believe the way we believe. Because they're not going to respond and act the way we may respond and act. We may be prepping physically and spiritually. They may be living for the world physically and spiritually. So we got to put everything in perspective. Amen. So, Father, as we come to you today, we thank you, we bless you, we praise you, we give you all the honor and the glory. Father, we just thank you for everything you have done and what you continue to do. Father, we just ask that you continue to be with us, lead us and guide us and cover us. Let us continue to understand your word, Father. Let us understand your word. Let us understand your word so that we can see the way you want us to see, speak the way you want us to speak, hear the way you want us to hear. And all these things we pray in your higher name. So let it be. Shalom, shalom, shalom. Y'all have a blessed Sabbath. Turn it up. Thank you.